Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of Cody from ATL, and we are just going to jump right into it as usual. We have a ton of news to cover today, but one of the first things that I wanted to cover was the fact that the US government has suspended access to Fable 5 and Mythos 5. I thought Fable was part of the Mythos class, as Anthropic says, but we're actually going to review this press release from Anthropic themselves, whose CEO has been begging for regulation for months now. There was also a bunch of rumors of this AI model being able to find security vulnerabilities, and it's just like, isn't that what they're supposed to do? So, this is all hype. This is all bullshit. This is all so that Elon Musk and the SpaceX IPO can go well because Elon is renting compute to Anthropic. Elon built this giant data center in Texas, right? The thing's literally powered by gasoline. It has like gas turbines and things. I mean, not totally powered by gas, but it's none of this is environmentally friendly, obviously, okay? And this is all a circular money scam, right? Anthropic, OpenAI, SpaceX, and NVIDIA, they're all just kind of, passing money back and forth. And yeah, these IPOs are going to be interesting. Obviously, we're going to have OpenAI or Anthropic. It's going to be the next IPO. All of these companies are insanely unprofitable. We're talking about all of them are lose billions of dollars a year. Oh, another thing we need to cover is Ed Zitron recently somehow. Ed Zitron's the GOAT, by the way. He's like the AI skeptic right now, or the most famous one, Ed Zitron, right? He's been appearing all over the place. I first saw him on the Tech Report, but he has a newsletter called Better Offline, I believe. And somehow he got a hold of some of the finances from, I believe it was OpenAI. It's not looking good, folks. It's not looking good. So we've got a bunch of unprofitable companies that are being evaluated at. SpaceX was evaluated at $1.75 trillion, even though they lost. I think it was $5 billion last year, or something along over a billion. Okay, they were net negative last year, but they were evaluated at 1.75 trillion. So if this is not a giant scam, I don't know what is. So anyway, let's jump into this fucking press conference from Anthropic. It says I mentioned their CEO, Dario, has been begging for months for regulation. Statement on the US government directive to suspend access to Fable 5 Mythos 5. By the way, Fable 5 came out like, I don't know, what, 2 weeks ago or something. It was like people barely got to try it, and now the access has been suspended. Again, this is a media stunt, but anyway, let's read what they have to say here. The U.S. government, citing national security authorities, has issued an export control directive to suspend all access to Fable 5 and Mythos 5 by any foreign national, whether inside or outside the United States, including foreign national Anthropic employees. The net effect of all of this order is that we must abruptly disable Fable 5 and Mythos 5 for all our customers to ensure compliance. Access to all other Anthropic models will not be affected. I think it's really funny that they're saying, okay, literally in the press release here, it says the net effect of this order is that we must abruptly disable Fable 5 and Mythos 5. Now, it's interesting that this order came down from Trump, right? The White House, the U.S. government, okay? And it just happened to coincide with the SpaceX IPO. And they're all directly connected. They're all in bed with each other pretty much. As I mentioned, SpaceX is renting at this point compute to Anthropic. Mind blown, right? Makes no sense. Yeah. They're not profitable through inference. There is no ROI. So this is a giant scam. It's just they're just setting billions on fire. It's literally what's happening. For an extremely mediocre product, your model's going to hallucinate. And actually, the more the model reasons, the more chance that it's going to get into a loop where it starts hallucinating. So these products are just very mediocre, expensive. We received the directive from the government today at 5:21. Okay, now when was the SpaceX IPO? Okay, now this was June 12th. Okay, what else happened on June 12th? It's interesting to me that the U.S. government suspended access to Anthropic's hottest model on literally the same exact day of the SpaceX IPO. Okay? This is not about safety. This is not about our models are so powerful, it's scary. No, quite the opposite. This is a stunt to pump up their stocks. Like when Anthropic actually has an IPO, what they're trying to do is basically convince everyone that this thing is out of control. It's so strong, it's out of control. Anthropic can't even control it. This thing is finding security vulnerabilities. I mean, the way they're making the sound is as if they are keeping some sort of a dragon in chains or something. And don't get me wrong, from what I've heard, the model is pretty good, right? It's supposedly better than previous models, but it's hard to get a hand. I haven't looked at the actual metrics, but just from people using it, I have heard good things. But again, this is not some sort of crazy, this is not AGI, or anything along those lines. It's just a new model. So that's why I'm not impressed by this. And I'm just going to call bullshit right now. I'm just going to call bullshit. There's no such thing as a coincidence in the Trump administration in my experience. And so Fable being banned on the same day as the SpaceX IPO, it's a little more than suspicious. It's more than suspicious. We received the directive from the government today at 5:21. Again, this is on June 12th. The letter did not provide specific details of its national security concern. So they got a directive from the government, but they weren't given details. Our understanding is that the government believes it has become aware of a method of bypassing or jailbreaking Fable 5. We reviewed a demonstration of this specific technique being used to identify a small number of previously known minor vulnerabilities. These vulnerabilities all appear relatively simple, and we have found that other publicly available models are able to discover them as well without requiring a bypass. So basically, they got passed down a very vague letter just basically saying you are banned. Honestly, I could see this being part of the plan in some smoky back room. Yeah, this definitely feels like a smoky backroom deal if I've ever seen it. To me, it's just crazy how stupid they think we are that they did this on the same exact day as the SpaceX IPO. That's what blows my mind. That's what blows my mind. So obviously, they are trying to get as much money as they possibly can for the SpaceX IPO, and then it will be Anthropic's turn or OpenAI's turn. All fledgling, failing companies, by the way, that are being backed up by all of our collective 401ks now. This is all going according to their plan. Anthropic's posture with respect to Fable safeguards, as laid out in our launch blog posts, is the following. We have instituted strong safeguards that greatly reduce the likelihood that Fable is misused for tasks related to cybersecurity, blah, blah, blah. In the weeks leading up to the launch of Fable, Anthropic worked with the US government, the UK, AISI, multiple private third-party orgs, and internal teams to red team Fable safeguards for thousands of hours in total. These tests showed that Fable safeguards are substantially more effective than those of any previously deployed model. So everything I'm reading here is saying that there's nothing wrong with this model. So this is even more sketchy. It just sounds like they made a little bit of progress, a few improvements, and now all of a sudden it's banned by the US government. How much did Elon invest in Trump's campaign? You got Elon, who has invested $250 million into Trump, and probably more than that, to be honest. I know that Trump is extremely egotistical and likes to think that Elon's in his pocket, but it's very much the other way around. This is a puppet government. Honestly, I think that they are willing to do anything. They're willing to do anything for a paycheck, for some cash. They will do whatever it takes to get their payday, right? Doesn't matter if it's corrupt, doesn't matter if it's completely illegal, unethical, immoral. Who cares? Who cares? This is the post-truth era. No one gives a fuck about critical thinking anymore, and that's why they can play in our face like this. That's why they can play in our face. The too long didn't read version is they came out with this Fable 5, okay? It was a mythos class, is what I heard from another Anthropic representative, right? Fable is like a branch off of mythos or whatever. Who cares? I don't know. It's their newest model. Who cares? They can call it flying rainbow toast for all I care. It's their newest model. It's slightly better than their previous models. That's it. There's nothing groundbreaking here. AI still can't do anything that requires arms or legs or hands. This thing is not hacking into the U.S. government database or any. It's just ridiculous. It's just ridiculous. They're playing in our face, obviously. This is all just a bunch of horseshit to get people panicked or to get people FOMOing, right? Get people amped up for the IPO. They're going to be reading stuff like this and, oh, the government banned it because it's so good. It's so good that the government had to ban it. If Elon wanted to, he's the world's first trillionaire, right? If he cared so much about the environment, supposedly, then sell Teslas for $1. Elon has so much money, he could afford to sell Teslas at $1, right? And then you would see so many people buying electric cars, and then we'd have to build the electric infrastructure, right? And it would help with climate change. They're like, he doesn't want to do that. He doesn't want to do that. He didn't even invent Tesla in the first place. I think it was like two dudes invented Tesla, and then Elon came through and bought the company, and then also went through some court proceedings to basically make him the original inventor, which is insane. If Elon wanted to make the world a better place, he could have already, and he doesn't want to. Okay, he was already the world's richest man before this. He could sell Teslas at $1 or free. You know what I mean? He doesn't give a fuck. He doesn't care about the environment, you know? What about the Hyperloop? All this other stuff that he said is supposed to help the environment? Nothing. Now they're just building data centers, which are going to destroy the environment. It's just so cynical. People look at you like you're this great guy because you have an electric car company. But the fact of the matter is, the guy tried to get on Epstein Island. The guy has ties with white supremacist movements, or at least, at the bare minimum, supports their cause. I mean, he did like the Heil Hitler salute at what was it, the Trump inauguration or one of the Trump election parties or whatever. It was fucking disgusting, you know. And this is the world's first trillionaire, and now we are all tied in with this. Anyone who has a 401k is tied in with this because 401ks automatically invest in index. All of our tech oligarchs want us uneducated, stupid, addicted to social media, constantly just dopamine addicted to doom scrolling, right? Because that keeps everyone docile and ignorant. So, if you want to fight the power, we have to elect more progressive candidates way further on the left than what the Democratic establishment presents us with. We don't need more of the same. We need new. We need political candidates who are excited to serve their constituents and make this country a better place. So everyone needs to do everything in their ability to become more educated. And you can do that through self education. You don't have to go to college. You can if you want. But as we know, college is extremely expensive, and a lot of people don't want to get in student loan debt. You can go get a free library membership and learn anything you want, and there's so much stuff available online as well. But the whole thing I hate about AI is this was a really big attempt to seize the means of production. And they kept telling us they were trying to replace us, and that's exactly what they're continuing to try to do. I know that ChatGPT was hot for a while and Claude and everything, but guys, I would recommend stay off this shit. It's bad for you. Using AI makes you dumber because you're not having to use any critical thinking skills whatsoever. You're just pressing the easy button for everything. And oftentimes AI makes hard things even harder than they were originally. You actually would have saved time just learning whatever it was and doing the work yourself. Oftentimes, if you're trying to do something complex, AI can make it even more complex and hallucinate on top of all of that. So we need to stop using AI, right? Unless you're forced to. I understand many of you are forced to in your workplace, especially if you're in tech. In your personal life, I would highly recommend for a healthier mindset to put the phone down and pick up a book. Listen to good music. This doom scrolling shit is not going to get us anywhere. Everyone constantly on social media watching other people live fake lives is not going to get us anywhere. When you really look at the big picture, it's extremely damning. If you really just zoom out, doesn't it just seem like this is all part of some grand scheme, right? Because we had smartphones come out in the mid 2000s, and then social media. But then social media in the beginning was okay. But now it's just toxic. I mean, honestly, just getting on social media is really bad for you. It's really bad for our minds, and using AI on top of that is making us dumber. So, if we don't want to be replaced by some stupid LLM, we have to continue to get better. I don't think they could even replace us with LLMs even if they tried. Okay. Well, actually, they did try. They've already tried. You saw a bunch of companies do mass layoffs when, LLMs were at the height of the hype cycle, I guess you could say, or at the height of the popularity. And now a lot of these companies are stepping back and saying, oh shit, we might have made a massive mistake. Leaked financial documents show OpenAI is losing billions of dollars a year. Is this surprising to you? Audited accounting shows growing revenues being dwarfed by R&D and other expenses. As OpenAI files SEC paperwork ahead of an expected initial public stock offering, newly leaked financial documents show a company with quickly growing revenues that are currently being overwhelmed by even larger expenses. It's funny to me that they said quickly growing revenues. It's not it's just crazy to me. They're not making money. They're just getting invested in. Their inference is not profitable. Okay. There is no ROI. And now it says that they are spending so much on marketing, R&D, all this stuff that they're losing billions of dollars a year. Holy shit, look at this, guys. This is crazy. Does this look like a successful company to you? Just look at this chart. We're not even going to read the fucking article. Let's just look at this chart, okay? Without anything else. Does this look like a successful company to you? Does this look like a successful company to you is the question. Let's look at 2025. All right. Revenue, 13 billion. Okay? I'm just going to round down. 19 billion in research and dev. And by the way, that's never going away. Training of AI models is never going away. That cost is never going away. Not only do they have to pre-train the models, but they also have to post-train the models. So even models that have been released on the market, they have to continue to post-train them. So that costs money as well. Sales and marketing, 5 billion. Oh my god. General and administrative, 1.57 billion. Okay. So all I'm seeing is a shitload of money going out the window and less than half coming in. Okay, that was for 2025. 2024, pretty much the same, if not worse. Okay, a little bit less money involved, but we're still talking about billions of dollars here. Billion used to mean something. How much good for the world could be done? Let's look at 2024 on the chart. 3.7 billion in revenue. 7.81 billion in research and dev. So basically, they spent like roughly double the amount on research and dev than the money coming in. So already just 7.8 out the window, okay? That was followed closely by 2.65 billion cost of revenue, 1.1 billion in sales and marketing and general administrative. Almost a billion. Just call it a billion, why not? Close enough, right? 900 million. Guys, this is insane. It's absolute insanity. AI is so special that we have to use made up metrics to measure its value. So yeah, I don't know. This is insane. I know I say it every video, but this is what our stock market is riding on now. Three massive companies, right, that are just hemorrhaging money every year. The stock market is based on magic and feelings and vibes, so it makes sense. Our 401ks are now based on magic and feelings and vibes as well, I guess, because now we're all tied to this fucking anchor. And when the bubble pops, and trust me, it will eventually, it's going to get bad. And in the next episode, we're out of time, but in the next episode, we're going to cover where we're at with Strait of Hormuz. I'll give you a hint. It's a little better, but it's not moving. 75% of the cargo ships sitting in the Strait of Hormuz are still sitting there. So 25% started going through, right? Trump said the Strait of Hormuz is wide open, right? Supposedly. Nah, I think that a lot of these shipping companies are worried that this could be temporary because Trump is not the most mentally stable person. Also, Israel has been attacking Beirut to try to blow apart the peace deal between the United States and Iran. So we will definitely get into the Iran thing in the next video. But yeah, sorry, we had to go through this Anthropic story because it's so crazy. Hey guys, thanks for joining me for another video. Make sure to like and subscribe, comment below, and I'll see you very shortly in the next one. Bye bye.